Welcome to associate level programming with Python. In this topic, we are going to cover files, exception handling, object-oriented programming, implementation of inheritance. We'll learn about modules and packages, regular expressions. We'll learn about a real-life example, and then we'll talk about the Python associate level program certification. In our previous few sessions, about 14 session, we have talked about the entry level Python programming. So we have built all the building blocks in the previous session. So from here on, we are going to talk about the intermediate level of Python programming. Also some tips for the interview preparation. So let's go to our chapter number 13. So that's files. Now, the key function for file handling or working with files in Python is the open function. Now, open function takes two parameters. One is the name of the file, which is called file name, and second is the mode. Now, there are four different modes or methods for opening a file. They are R for reading a file. Now this value is a default value. Because it's a default value, you don't need to specify it. If specified, that's fine. The second one is A, so which is appending a file. So if a file exists, then it will append to from the end of the line, and if the file does not exist, it will create a file. The third one is W, so which is writing a file. So creates a file if it doesn't exist. If the file exists, it will overwrite everything inside the file. And the last one is X. So it'll create a file, but if the file exists, it'll give you an error. So this will be useful for like if the file exists and you don't want to append it or you don't want to overwrite it, you want to tell the user that file exists, so take some action. So that's where you will use X. Now, apart from this four modes, there are two additional modes, which is the files which you are working on can be a text file or it can be a binary file. So the default value is a text file, but if it is you're dealing with images and all that, you can specify B as binary. So the example shown at the bottom of your screen, you can say file f equal to open name of the file and you can close the bracket. The default value will be RT, or you can specify both the file name and the mode, which is RT, or any other mode you want to work with. So let's have a look at the read file. I am reading a file. The file is called navfile.txt. Let's say, let me remove this, save. So I've got 3 lines in the file, basically giving some information in this file about what this course is all about. And then I'm going to read the file. So I'm reading the file. Let's comment few lines here and um, let's read the file. All right. So I'm opening a file. I'm reading the file. I'm closing the file. So that's what I'm doing. Let's run it. So it has read the file and it has printed everything inside the file, which is all good. Now let's see. In this statement, I haven't given any mode. So if I want to give the mode, so let's see, I want to give the mode and I've given the mode as R. Yeah. So the behavior of this program should be same. And yeah, there you go. It has printed the file. Now, few differences or few other usage I wanted to show you. So let's say I'm reading the file and I only want to print the first 5 characters of the file, because I'm saying f.read 5 characters. Yep. So let's run it, and there you go. I got hello, which is the first 5 character of the file. Um, let's have a look at some other example. Now I can use readline to read a line of a file. So let's have a look at that. So I'm reading line 1, and then I'm reading line 2, and then I'm closing the file. So if I run this, and let's see what happens. So it has printed line 1 and line 2. It hasn't printed line 3 because our program doesn't do it, and it has come out of it. Now let's say I want to use a for loop for our, so I'm passing a file f to our for loop, assigning it to value x, and then printing the value x in a for loop. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Run the file. Yep. So it has printed the first 2 line in this two statement, but the rest of the line, which is our good luck, is getting printed using this for loop. So our file pointer has come. So the first two read line has read this. Then the file pointer is in line number 3, starting of line number 3, and then this for loop is reading the rest of the file and printing it. So there you go. We have seen all different variation of reading a file. So let's come in this and let me show you the last bit. So in case I'm not reading this 2 lines and printing everything using the for loop, you can do that as well. Run this, and all 3 lines gets printed. So there you go. So that's our reading a line. Now let's have a look at writing into a file. So let's reiterate our 4 modes. First one, R, we have already um, done and dealt with in our read file example. So the mode A is appending a file if the file already exists. If not, create a new file. Mode W is overwrite everything if the file exists. If not, create a new file. And mode X is create a new file, but if the file exists, give an error. Yeah. So here I'm going to give you an example of um, appending to an existing file. So I'm saying open a file and then write. Now the file has more content, and then close the file. Yeah. And then I'm again reading the same file and then printing everything what I'm reading. And one line missing here. Closing the file here. It's always a good practice to close a file. So let's run it. Yeah. So I've read a file. I've printed everything. You can see this got printed. Yeah. And if I go to my file, this line which I have written it in line number 8 is present here. So it has written it. Yeah. So we have seen the example of append. Now let me copy this file, and yeah, just keeping a copy of that. And let's say I want to give you an example of W. Yeah. So what should happen if I run W? It should overwrite everything in that file, and hence I've taken the copy of it. Um, and yep. So when I made it W, it has printed only the one which I have written here. And if I go to that file, it's only this one which is present. And let me just show you with X as well, just for completeness. So it should give you an error because file already exists. So let's see. There you go. Can't do this because file already exists. So that's our 3 different mode example. Now the last bit is deleting a file. Yep. file exists, which is same as our this file, but yeah, if the file exists, then delete the file. Now for deletion of this file, I'm using this package called OS. So I'm doing an import OS. We'll learn about this more in our package session, but for this purpose, for the file purpose, I'm doing os.remove and then file name. It'll remove the file. So keep an eye here in my uh, chapter 13 folder, and you will see the file will disappear. So let me run this file. So if you see chapter 14, or if you see in the tab, the file, this file disappeared. Now, if I just if I run this again, the program will give you the file doesn't exist. So there you go. We have learned about everything about files. Uh, we have learned about every other aspects of the mode. The binary, of course, in case you happen to deal with the image, yeah, please try binary, reading the file, and yeah, whatever operation you want to do with the binary. And there you go. That's the end of our file function, where we have learned reading, writing, creating, and deletion of the file. Thanks. I have provided the links in the description below for the Python and PyCharm download. I have also recommended 3 Python books to enhance your knowledge. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.